The secrets below. When my family moved into our new house, I was just a curious child, unaware of the mysteries that lay beneath its surface. The old Victorian home had a certain charm, but it also carried an air of foreboding, especially when it came to the basement. My parents were thrilled with our new home, eager to make it our own. My little sister Emma and I explored every nook and cranny with wide-eyed wonder. But as we descended into the basement for the first time, a shiver ran down my spine. The basement was unlike any I had seen before, with walls lined with dusty shelves filled with old books, trinkets, and forgotten relics. Among the odd assortment of items, I noticed an ancient-looking wooden door, its surface adorned with strange symbols etched into the wood. Intrigued, I asked my parents about the door, but they dismissed it as a mere curiosity, something to be left alone. They warned me not to venture too deep into the basement, but their words only fueled my curiosity. One evening, as darkness settled over our new home, I couldn't resist the allure of the mysterious door any longer. I waited until everyone was asleep, then crept down to the basement, my heart pounding with excitement and trepidation. I approached the enigmatic door, my fingers tracing the intricate symbols etched into its surface. With a sense of both fascination and dread, I turned the ancient knob and pushed the door open. To my surprise, it led to a narrow, dimly lit room filled with dusty jars that lined wooden shelves. The jars contained a macabre collection of human organs, eyes, hearts, and other body parts suspended in a thick, amber-like fluid. My breath caught in my throat as I realized the horrifying nature of the discovery before me. Overwhelmed by fear and disgust, I quickly shut the door and fled back to my room, where I lay awake, haunted by the images I had seen. The following morning, I couldn't bear to keep the gruesome secret to myself any longer. I approached my parents, my voice trembling, and recounted my horrifying discovery in the basement. My parents exchanged concerned glances, their faces paling as I spoke. It was my father who decided to investigate first. Armed with a flashlight and a determined expression, he made his way to the basement, leaving my mother and me anxiously waiting at the top of the stairs. Time seemed to stretch as we waited in tense silence. The minutes felt like hours, and the basement's eerie stillness was punctuated only by the faint hum of the furnace. Then, suddenly, we heard my father's voice. A sharp, startled cry that sent chills down our spines. Rushing downstairs, we found my father pale and shaken, his flashlight trembling in his hand. He stammered to describe what he had seen, the dusty jars with human organs, just as I had described them. The room was real, and it was undeniably disturbing. Together, we made the decision to barricade the door leading to that nightmarish chamber. My father fetched a stack of heavy wooden planks and nails, and with a sense of grim determination, we sealed off the room. For a while, it seemed like the right decision. The room and its grim contents remained hidden away, and life in our new home returned to a semblance of normalcy. We convinced ourselves that we had put an end to the disturbing mystery. But some nights later, as we lay in our beds, we began to hear strange noises emanating from the basement, subtle, unsettling sounds that suggested movement and life below, footsteps that should not exist, whispers that defied explanation, and an eerie sensation of being watched. Fear once again settled over our household, casting a long shadow over our peace. And when we mustered the courage to return to the basement, we were met with a horrifying sight. The barricaded door had been mysteriously unsealed, and new jars filled with body parts were added to the macabre collection. As we stood in the basement, paralyzed with fear and disbelief at the sight of the newly added jars with gruesome contents, a sickening realization washed over us. The malevolent presence that had plagued our home was not confined to the basement alone. With trembling hands and racing hearts, we rushed back upstairs, the echoing sounds of our footsteps, a cacophony of dread. Panic welled up inside us as we reached the ground floor and heard strange noises coming from the upper levels of the house. A cacophony of crashes and eerie whispers filled the air as we ascended the stairs. Terror gnawed at our resolve as we burst into the kitchen. There, in the dim light, We found Emma frozen in fear. With frantic gestures, Emma pointed to the open kitchen door, which led to the backyard. We rushed to the doorway, our hearts pounding in our chests. In the backyard, bathed in the eerie glow of the moon, we saw a shadowy silhouette of a tall man emerging from the darkness of the woods. He moved with an unsettling grace, his figure partially obscured by the veil of night. He was dragging our mother away from the safety of our home, her cries for help barely audible in the stillness of the night. With a surge of adrenaline, my father and I raced outside, shouting for the intruder to release my mother. But the man continued his relentless advance into the woods, his grip on her unyielding. We followed, struggling to keep up, the woods growing thicker and more sinister with each step. The moonlight played tricks on our senses, casting elongated shadows that seemed to stretch and distort, as if the very forest itself conspired against us. In the dark heart of the woods, my father finally closed the distance between himself and the man. With a desperate lunge, he grabbed a hefty rock from the forest floor and swung it at the intruder. The rock struck the man's head with a sickening thud, and he stumbled, releasing my mother. She collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath and clutching her throat. With my father's help, we managed to free my mother from the man's grasp. But as our attention shifted to her, the man, dazed and disoriented, seized the opportunity to flee. He disappeared into the inky blackness of the woods, leaving us shaken and terrified. As we returned to the safety of our home, we couldn't help but wonder about the horrors that had unfolded in the basement and the malevolent secrets that had brought darkness into our lives. After that harrowing night in the woods, we called the authorities, desperate for answers and safety. The police arrived, and an investigation was launched into the disturbing events that had unfolded in our new home. Yet despite their efforts, the authorities found no trace of the mysterious intruder who had terrorized our family. It was as if he had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only the lingering fear that haunted our every step. In the end, the trauma of that night proved too much to bear, and our family made the painful decision to leave our new house behind. We sought refuge in a different place, hoping to escape the malevolent secrets that had taken hold of our lives. But the memories of that house and the horrors that had transpired within its walls continued to haunt us. We knew that we could never truly leave behind the chilling mysteries of the past, and they would remain etched in our minds as a reminder of the darkness that could lurk beneath the surface of even the most ordinary homes.